Om Sadashivasamārambhām Shankarācārya-madhyamām Asmadācārya-paryantāം Vande Guru-paraṁparāṁ Dayākaran dayākaram Dāntam dharma-pravartakam Pranamāmi dayanandam Madācārya-paraṁparam Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Paravahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. You can bring your chair here. There is a chair here. You come here. She's hard of hearing. Yeah. आप इधर आ जाइए. चेयर है, कुर्सी है. आप आ जाओ. Om Bhadram Karneभिः शृणुयामदेवाः Bhadram Pashyemakshabhiryajtraः Sthirairangai Stuštuvagumsastanubhiः Vyashema Devahitam Yadayuः Swasti na Indro Vruddhashravah Swasti nः Pusha Vishvavedaः Swasti nastarkshyo arishtanemihi Swasti no brihaspati'r dadhatu Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. Gritamiva payasi nigudham bhute bhute vasati vijnanam. Vijnanam means chit, Atma. Why not say bhute bhute vasati sat? Because chit is where we have that I, the aham is very much there. I am chit. Of course I am also sat, no problem. Sat I am. But chit clinches it because I know I am. I know I am. How do I know I am? Because I am Chit, that sentient consciousness which is aware of its own presence and to which everything in the universe, when we are talking about a manifest universe, becomes evident. That is who I am. And then, therefore, it says, Bhute bhute vasati vijnanam. This vijnanam, this chit is there in everything. It is lying down, it is sleeping. The chit is sleeping in the rock. And the chit is moving in the tree and in the Ganga. That same chit is moving in the Ganga, it is sleeping in the rock, and then it is blowing in the gusty winds that we have been having. It is shining in the sun. It is majestically present, that same chit, in the mountains. And then finally, it is complaining in all the human beings. Same chit. So, but then in the rock it is latent. That chit is latent in the rock and is fully awake in me. What's the difference? The rock cannot say I rock, but I can say I rock. That's the difference. The rock cannot say I rock. I am a rock, it cannot say. Sukshma Sharira Abhavat. Because of the absence of Sukshma Sharira. Subtle body not being there, the subtle body is like the antennae, which is able to broadcast and express itself. The subtle body is not there, and so therefore what? Therefore it is Chit is latent. Chit is there, but it is latent. So therefore Sat is there in the rock, Chit is there in the rock, Ananda is there in the rock, everything is there, but only Sat is palpable, evident. And then Satchidananda, all of them are there where? In the human being. In the human being, all of them are there. And so why? Because I am conscious. I am free, I am conscious, I am present. And I know I am present. Is that locked? Is the room locked? So like even the ghee is hidden in the milk, in the same way, this Chit is hidden in all beings, without exception. Whether it is able to be manifest or not depends on the presence of the subtle body, otherwise it is ever present all over. And because I am this Chit, therefore the equation between me and Ishvara can take place. Because what is Ishvara? Chit. And what am I? Chit. That on the level of the Chit, with that knowing, on the level of me being a knowing being, the equation of myself with Brahman can take place. There is no Ishvara other than myself. That is what we have to understand. So then we also saw yesterday Satatam Manthayitavyam Manasa Manthana Bhutena. Satatam, constantly. How is this understood? How is the fact that everything is Chit, everything is myself alone, everything is as though an extension of me as Satchidananda, how is this understood? Everything is Satchidananda. The people I love, of course, Satchidananda. The people I do not like or who bug me all the time, Satchidananda, but still Satchidananda. So this I have to understand. I have to understand this. How to do this? And we saw, just like in the milk has to be churned with a churning rod until the butter comes out, or until the hands get tired with repetitive stress injury, whichever comes first, and then the butter comes out, the butter is then clarified into ghee, and then the ghee is there, so there is some effort involved. And here, when we translate the example into what the effort looks like, the effort is what? The so-called effort is being in the right place at the right time, in the right way to pursue this knowledge. Shravanam, that is called Shravanam. The right pursuit of this knowledge is being able to be present and listen without prejudice. Give it a chance to work by dropping the network of all kinds of notions which are like cobwebs in the head. Give it a chance to work. What do you have to lose? Nothing but your ignorance. That is what you have to lose. Give it a chance to work. You have nothing to lose but self-ignorance. And then after that, still there may be some doubts remaining. The knowledge is a blessing and it is immediately gained. Even by the Manda Adhikari, the knowledge does take place. It's not the knowledge does not take place. Even the person who doesn't have many qualifications, just is struggling to be present in the class, one cannot but be awed, because this knowledge is awesome. One is awed that because this knowledge is awesome, one feels awesome, and that is there. But the knowledge is inhibited by doubts, inhibited by all kinds of vagueness, error, etc. This doubt-filled knowledge and vagueness-filled knowledge is clarified further through mananam, a process of meditation where you ask questions and directly get some doubts cleared. That is one portion of this meditation. The other portion is certain things become evident to you, because you're a thinking person, you're a conscious, thinking, intelligent person, and then when you hear some of the Upanishads and the Bhagavad Gita, whatever you are hearing, there is a certain, there is a certain kind of an agitation in a nice way, like in a washing machine happening. Things are shifting in the head, in the heart. Things are becoming clarified. Things are loosening. Things are letting go. All that is happening. And I'm allowing it to happen, and then there are certain insights that come from this allowing, and that is the phala of mananam. What is the phala? What is the result of mananam? I have greater clarity. The obfuscation drops away. The vagueness drops away. What else drops away? Along with the vagueness, the doubts drop away. But still, there may be certain erroneous ways in which I am conducting myself. Why? Because of habitual orientation. I have certain habits. Just like the habits are hard to die, similarly, these habits of my everyday life, how I conduct myself, and my being given to anger, my being given to fear, sorrow, etc., they overpower despite this knowledge. The force of the habit is as though overpowering the knowledge, and so they have to be removed. And for that, if those kinds of habits are there, which is the error in the knowledge, so therefore they have to be removed. And how is that done? Through the regurgitation of the Upanishad grasses, like a cow. The cow hastily eats all the grasses, and then it doesn't know how long it has outside. It thinks, oh, only 5 minutes, I have to eat quickly, I'm hungry. It nibbles. It doesn't taste. It doesn't assimilate. And then it finds that the farmer hasn't come to put it back in the stables. Oh, I have the whole day. Oh, what shall I do with myself? I guess I'll go sit under a tree and chew the cud. It has 4 stomachs. So from stomach number 1, it regurgitates the grass and then chews it properly, enjoys the wheat grass juice, organic. And then what does it do? Send it to the next stomach. Similarly, the student of the Upanishad, eager to graze, eats the Kathopanishad grass, Mundakopanishad grass. What is the name of this Upanishad? Amritabindu grass. Quickly, quickly, quickly. And then just revels in the taste. Brings it back again and again for that taste. Reveling in the taste of the Upanishad is reveling in oneself. So this is Nididhyasana. We saw all that. Now we'll go to the next verse. Back to the meter. Jnananetram samadaya chodharedvanhivat param nishkalam nishchalam shantam Tad brahmahamiti smritam. Yeah, now it is getting up close and personal. Tad brahma aham. There is towards the end, there is an owning up. Up till now it was just Brahman there, what it is, etc. Now there is no more excuses. Why? Because the manthanam, the churning has taken place. The churning has taken place and the precious ghee, the clarified butter has been extracted, and then therefore the last two verses are like a blessing from the Rishi who has channeled the Upanishad, or blessing from Bhagavan itself, we can say. So one more sadhana is given in verse number 21, and then we end with a phalashruti in verse number 22. What is the sadhana that is given? Jnana netram samadaya. Jnana netram. Netram means what? Eyes. Yeah, here it means it's a pun. There is a pun on the word netra. Netra means eye, definitely. I, not I, aham, I. E-Y-E-I. We have to say this because we keep saying I. So Jnana Netram means the eyes of knowledge, samadaya, having placed the eyes of knowledge means seeing through the eyes of knowledge, one meaning, and then the other meaning here, hidden meaning, is Jnana Netram Samadhaya. We have to read what comes next. It says, Cha uddharet, urdhvam haret, uddharet. May one bring it up. What? Param Brahma uddharet. May one as though bring out, bring up, bring forth. Param Brahma. May one bring forth Ishvara. May one bring forth manifest Brahman. How do I bring forth Brahman? Like the ancient way of igniting the fire. So now when they have yajna, they will just, use something, and then they will get one piece that is kindled, and then they will put that there prayerfully. But now, before, in the olden times, even now in certain places, in India, in South India, this is very much there. The art of fire production is just been fascinating for many people. And what would they do? They would have two pieces of wood. What wood? The wood that doesn't burn very easily. It's called acacia. Acacia wood. And then what would that be? So one part is just a little kind of a bowl shaped with a little indentation, and the other one is like a churning rod, like a thick, fat churning rod. And then in between, a little piece of rope was put, dry rope. That was the kindling. And that rope is also called, that string, little piece of dry string is also called netra. You see the pun now? That's also netra, but here this is also netra. And so even though it's talking about it's a very beautiful metaphor where the drishtanta, the example, and the darshtanta, that which it is bringing to light, are both very nicely mixed up. So, Jnana Netram, what does it say? Jnana Netram Samadaya, using the Jnana Netram, Uddharet Vanhivat, that vat is there. Yesterday I told you how to look for examples. How do we know it's an example? Yatha, Tatha, Vat and Iva. So here there is here there is Vat. Vanhivat, like even Uddharet, like even bringing out the fire. Now did the fire come from the wood? No, the fire is latent in the wood, as it is said in the Kathopanishad. Aranyoho nihitaha jatavedaha. So in the Aranis, Arani means the top, there is one Adho Arani, the bottom Arani. Arani means these two instruments of bringing out the fire are called Arani. And then Urdhva Arani, Adho Arani, the top stick and the bottom stick. The bottom Arani, not stick, the bottom one is more like a indented piece. So the bottom piece and the top stick, both are called Adho Arani and Urdhva Arani. Uttara Arani also it's called. Uttara Arani and Adho Arani. So these Aranis are what? The fire is already a possibility. You cannot say the fire is in the wood, the fire is in the kindling, but the fire is there in this whole contraption. The possibility of fire is already there. So you are not bringing something that is not possible. That which is latent is brought out. Aranyoho nihitaha jatavedaha. Jatavedaha means Agni. This is in the Kathopanishad. Very clearly it is said. It's already latent. It is latent, which is then manifest. And like the fire. So then you do the rubbing, and the rubbing also has to be done in a very gentle way, and then you have the kindling. With that, the yajna is started. The fire ritual is started with that kindling. Very beautiful. Because you see, they said that in northern Europe, they say that there are over 300 words for snow. Why? All snow, so much snow. And then you find in the, the Inuit culture, all snow, 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 so many words. For fluffy snow, they will have one word. For packed snow, they'll have another word. So many things, they'll have different words. So for us, we have as many words for fire. Yeah, this is a fire culture. So many kinds of fire. Garhyapatya Agni. And so many like this, so many, there are different kinds of fire which we keep at home. And like this, and the different rituals have different names for Agni. And all this is there. Even Agni is Jataveda. Jataveda means Jate Jate Vidyate. Iti Jatavedaha, one meaning. That which is known as soon as one is born. When the baby is delivered, what will the doctor or the midwife do? Touch it first. Is it warm? Yes. It's a live birth. Congratulations. That is Agni. 98.4. What is that? Not temperature, it's Agni. That you call normal is Agni. The presence of Agni inside. It is a Devata. And then, so that is Jatavedaha, one meaning. Another is that through which one increases one's fortune. Vedas means fortune. So that through which one increases one's fortune. How do I increase my fortune? Through Agni, through the fire rituals. Asking for prosperity, asking for abundance. So this way it's called Jataveda. So many names are there, and this Agni is not brought out of a vacuum. It is latent in the wood. It's already there. It is manifest. What is a possibility is manifest. Because it is already there, it can be manifest. The churning of the milk, for example, in the last verse, does not produce the butter. The butter is already hidden in the milk. And in this Arani, what is there? The fire is hidden. It is latent. It is also Nigudha. So, Urdhvam Haret. Urdhvam Haret means this is the question of owning it up through the different kind of churning here, but that churning again means whatever it takes in my life to abide in this knowledge, I will diligently do. So the will is not there in listening, correct. But the little bit of will is there in the will to study, in the will to expose myself to this knowledge, and that I do diligently. Diligently I do Shravanam, and then I take care of whatever obstacles are in the way, like hopelessness, fear, and a feeling I'll never understand, I'll never get this. All these are just feelings. They are not the reality. So I let them go, I process them, and then persevere. For the one who perseveres, this is the reality. What is that? Tad Brahma Aham. And what is that bringing out? Urdhvam haretu, uddharet. The uddharet means owning up this knowledge, assimilating this knowledge. Again, it's not theory and practice. No. It is getting rid of obstacles that lie in the way, like habits, doubts, vagueness, error, all these things. It's getting rid of all of those things so that I can enjoy and revel as myself, as the truth of myself. And so that's really what is the manifestation. And then for that, whatever is needed, I will do. Any effort that is needed, I will do. This is the idea. And then Tad Brahma Aham iti smritam. Smritam means what? It is how it is remembered. The word remember here is not an accident. It is basically Shastric, because whenever we encounter Adhihi Bhagavo Brahma, in the Taittiriya Upanishad there is a sentence. Adhihi Bhagavo Brahma, O revered one, please teach me Brahman. And then in the Kaivalya Upanishad, Adhihi Bhagavaha Brahmavidyam Varishtham Sada Sadbhihi Sevyamanam Nigudham. Like this, the student again asks for the Brahma Vidya. Student asks for Brahma Vidya. And whenever the student asks for Brahma Vidya, Adi Shankara in his commentary converts it into a different expression. Adhihi doesn't mean teach, he says Adhihi means Madartham Smara. Please recall for my own sake, for my sake, please recall. So what's the difference between teach and recall? Big difference. Recall means recall how you were when you went to the teacher and what methods the teacher used to bring you out of samsara. Please use the same methods for me. Recall means we bring the entire parampara to bear here. Very beautiful it is. Recall means it is a very, what is that? It's a very intimate knowledge passed on, transmitted from the teacher to the students. Why is it intimate? Because the teacher was also in the same position or a similar situation as you are now. The teacher was also in a similar situation. So what does the teacher do? The teacher does not say something coming off the top of their own head. The teacher just recalls how he or she was taught by his or her teacher. That is what the recalling is. And that's why the knowledge remains to pure to this day. One thing. Second thing is, it's the knowledge where the person who is transmitting it is almost inconsequential. It's not a person-based knowledge. It's a lineage-based knowledge. So what is the person? The person is like this, what is this called? Microphone. Just amplifies. That's what the person is. The individual teachers belonging to the lineage, what do they have? They are just magnifiers of this knowledge. They are just amplifiers of this knowledge. They bring it out loud and clear in a particular, to a particular set of people at a particular time. That is what they do. The Shastra is very much already given. And exactly how it is given, that is how it is continuing to be given, and that's where the greatness lies. So our greatness as teachers is due to being fantastic copycats. Yes. Unabashedly we plagiarize. We plagiarize the Guru's words, not necessarily the mannerisms and the how they looked and all that. I went to a conference once and there were some 4 or 5 people that had come from some particular Guru. Guru could not attend. He sent 4 of his Shishyas and they all looked alike. Really? Yeah. Up till here hair and then all curly hair and then mustache and then beard and wearing the same kinds of clothes, and the mala was also exactly the same. Everybody looked alike. I had trouble telling them apart. That's not the point. That's not the place to emulate the teacher. Emulating the teacher is emulating the teachings. Assimilating the teachings is the best form of emulation. So here, what is any teacher's claim to fame? A traditional teacher's claim to fame is that I am a good copycat. That's all it is. That's all it is. It's not about me. Everything is because of the Guru, and the Guru will also say everything is because of the Gurus. And those Gurus will also say everything is because of the Gurus. And then to such an extent that in the Kena Upanishad, the teacher in the Kena Upanishad says, na vidmo na vijanemaha yatha etad anushishyat. We ourselves are flummoxed. How to teach this, we don't know. The teacher says. So what do? We can only teach what was taught to us. Yenastat vyachachakshire. Those people who taught us, those exalted Mahatmas who taught us something, only that we can teach. So even the teacher in the Kena Upanishad, which is a primary text in Vedanta, says those teachers, whoever they were, we are following that. That is why the knowledge is safe, because it has withstood the test of time. That is why it is not what I quoted yesterday, avidyayam antare vartamanaha swayam panditaha dhiram iti dhiraha iti manyamanaha dandramyamanaha pariyanti mudhaha andhenaiva niyamanaha yatha andhaha. Like the blind leading the blind, because the leader himself is deluded, and then of course those who are led are doubly deluded. And where are they? Avidyayam antare vartamanaha. Swimming in the deep waters of ignorance. They are still Swayam Panditaha. But the problem is they think that they are Panditas. Panditam Manyamanaha. We are the Pandits, we are the east or west, we are the best. They think like that. Dandramyamanaha means just keeping on being blown away by various fancies. Their teachings keep changing, they say one thing, they don't say another thing, and they themselves are confused and other people are confused. Andhenaiva niyamanaha yatha andhaha, like the blind leading the blind. This is not there here. So therefore, this is a caveat and a blessing, both in the last 2 verses that we have said. Whatever churning is to be done is in keeping with the Shastra, is in keeping with the Parampara. It's not like I'm going off to do my own churning somewhere. Happy churning everybody. I have my own way. I have my creative edge. And I have this. And I'm going to go off doing this. Why should I churn in this manner? I'll churn in some other way. All that maybe, that is okay if the churning was actually an action. Then we have options. If it's an action, we have options. Clap your hands. Okay, finally, yeah. See, some people chose to clap, some people did not clap, some people woke up, they were asleep, and they said, oh, what is this? I have to clap, oh, somebody said something, okay. Somebody clapped late, correct? What does that mean? Kartum shakyam, akartum shakyam, anyatha va kartum shakyam. It is possible to do when we are at the realm of action. It is possible to not do, and then it is possible to do differently. Like the person who clapped last. Okay? Yeah. So that means there are choices in action. Is there a choice in knowledge? Say no, so we can save some time. No. Yeah. So the same choice, if it existed in knowledge, I can say, what can I say? I can look upon this as a rose. I can look upon this as what is that? That is that as an elephant. I can look upon this as a mango. I can look upon this as an apple. See what a nice red apple. Anybody wants? Yeah. Or I can look up, why different things, you're just exaggerating everything. Okay, let's just stick to the flowers. I can look upon this as champa, a fragrant flower. I can look upon this as a sunflower. Look, how nice sunflower. It is facing the sun right now. Look. Is this choice available to me? No. This is what we mean by Vastu Tantram Jnanam. Jnanam is Vastu Tantram. Vastu Tantram means it's as true as the object. I cannot, even if I wanted to, this will not become a mango just because I want a mango right now. It's not going to oblige. It will remain a rose. When? Rose means every day. It will always remain what? Rose. It will not change. And so similarly, knowledge is Vastu Tantram, dependent upon the object. Karma, action is Kartru Tantram, depends upon the doer, the will of the doer. Here the will of the doer is not involved, because the knowledge is as true as the object, and so it has a revelatory function. The knowledge reveals itself if you expose yourself to the knowledge, and so the churning here is not an action. Both the churnings in verse number 20 and 21, they are not actions, they are metaphors. They are metaphors for bringing about the cognitive shift and taking care of obstacles through various means. That's what it is. Because the primary sadhana here is what? Shravanam. Shravanam is not an action. Mananam and nididhyasanam again is not an action. It's reveling in your own self. Mananam, you can say, little bit of action, going to the teacher, asking questions, and then thinking about certain things, etc. You can say little bit of action is involved, but again when the teacher speaks, it becomes Shravanam again. So really, I'm trying to understand and assimilate this knowledge that is already me. I'm trying to discover this. Why? Because I cannot handle the lived me right now. The lived me right now, the reality that I am living is actually a non-reality because of the fear, pain, sorrow, trauma, whatever you have it. So therefore it is not blessing me. Therefore I long for this forever, I long for happiness, I long for shanti, peace. And so therefore I want this knowledge. This knowledge, like the flower, cannot be altered according to my wishes. So Brahman must be finite. Because why? I want it to be finite. It's not. It cannot be finite. I have to see it exactly how it is. And I have to wipe the dust off the eyes. That's why Jnana Netram. Jnana Netram here, as I said, it's the pun. First one, Netra means rope. Jnana Netram here. Jnana Netram means the eyes of knowledge. What does it mean, eyes of knowledge? Eyes of objectivity and dispassion. Vairagya filled eyes. What does Vairagya have to do this? I thought Vairagya means letting go. Exactly. Letting go of what? Shabda Maya, Samavritaha. So, letting go of other notions. I can't keep on nourishing these notions. And then also say, let me just also have this knowledge. This knowledge is not about notions. It does not confirm to my notions. It doesn't matter what I feel about this knowledge. And if those notions are obstacles, they have to go. And in fact, most notions are obstacles. They have to go. Because only when there is some empty space in the heart, when the thicket of raga, dvesha and notions are removed, then only I can have darshan of myself as Ishvara. Then only I can have that. Otherwise I'll just be longing. This is the message. So any kind of teaching, the pedagogy is inherited. It's inherited from one's teacher. It is given. And so the churning has a certain timetable and a methodology, the quote-unquote churning. It is not just whatever I feel like doing. So simply by the word smritam, the Upanishad tells us the weight of the parampara very beautifully. Then the last verse, let's look at this a little bit. Nishkalam. What do I have to bring out? Nishkalam. Partless. Partless. Partless means that which is not subject to falling apart. Anything that is put together, anything that has parts, what does it do? Falls apart. Brahman doesn't fall apart because it is nishkalam. Because it doesn't have parts. Nishchalam does not move around, is infinite, eternal. Nishchalam yet sarvavyapinam. So it is all pervasive and yet unmoving. Very beautiful. Like space. It is unmoving but it is everywhere. Shantam. Shantam means free of the subject-object duality which causes fear and sorrow. Free of the subject-object duality. How is it free of duality? Because subject is an as though morphing of that consciousness, as though morphing. Subject and then object is also an as though morphing of that consciousness into two different statuses. But both those statuses are what? Finite. And as though like phena. Phena means bubbles in the ocean. They appear, they are, they disappear. The number of bubbles, if there are more or less, does not cause any problem to the ocean. If there are more bubbles, more waves, more foam, and the ocean doesn't get elated. And if there are fewer waves, bubbles, foam, etc., then the ocean does not get dejected. So too, in this oceanic consciousness, many morphings can take place as it were. We have to always add as though, because there is nothing that is changing, there is nothing that is morphing. As though, because it has to, we have to understand the empirical experience. That's why we say as though morphing. So from the standpoint of the subject, what are the morphings that can take place? Subject means thinker, knower, hearer, seer, doer, consumer. And in all this, ER is the Atma, unchanging. The unchanging ER is the Atma, and then whatever you put in front, think, do, eat, clean, all these things are what? They come and go. But what do we say? Oh, this is the suffix, the substantive is the noun. No. The agent is what is there we are talking of. The so-called one that transforms as it were into an agent, that is the Atma. And the area of so-called functionality, thinking, doing, sleeping, eating, it comes and goes. And what is the Atma? Not a subject, not an agent, essentially. Then we look at it where the subject relates to. The subject relates to objects. So many objects. Even in this room, there are countless objects if we really break it down. And then all these objects are what? Again, foam, bubbles, and all this. That's all. Called objects. So the objects are not in opposition to consciousness. The subject is not in opposition to consciousness. Both are mithya. Both are dependent upon consciousness. They do not have an independent reality. So what am I? I am neither the subject nor the object. I am the partless whole Brahman that includes both subject and object and transcends them also. This is what we have to understand. Tad Brahma Aham. There is an owning up. Before it was Asti Brahma. There is something called Brahman. And now it is what? Asmi Brahma. Aham Brahmasmi. This is what is called Mahavakya. A Mahavakya is that which equates the Jiva with Ishvara, Bhagavan. Okay? And then that is the 21st. In the last one there is a blessing and also the result of this knowledge. The meter is slightly off, but we can manage. Sarva bhutadhivasam yat bhuteshu cha vasatyapi bhuteshu cha vyasatyapi sarvanugrahakatvena tadasmyaham vasudevah tadasmyaham vasudeva iti. So, sarva bhuta adhivasam yat. Yat Brahma. Yat means Brahman. Sarva bhuta adhivasam means in whom all beings reside. In Bhagavad Gita also we will have in the 28th or 29th verse of the 6th chapter. Sarva bhutastham atmanam, like this it will be there. Yeah. So that we will see in the 6th chapter also the same sentiment will come. So sarva bhutadhivasam, in whom all beings reside. You see, this is nice because there is a nice cozy feeling. I am in Brahman. Oh, nice. I'm being lulled in Brahman. Fantastic. But we don't want anybody to get too complacent. Why? Because if we go away with this understanding, how many people are there? Two. One is Brahman and one is me rolling inside Brahman. Okay? Then that means what? Ashraya. Brahman becomes Ashraya, that in which things are located, and then I become what? The thing that is located. So Brahman becomes the receptacle, and then I become located in Brahman. Where is the oneness? It looks like the same, but it is not. We have to be very alert because there are very subtle things going on over here. And we have to see that properly. Extremely subtle situation because we can't go away with this. So, therefore, in the Bhagavad Gita, in the 9th chapter also, there is a paradox that is pointed out. First, Lord Krishna says, Matsthani sarva bhutani. In the 3rd verse, I think. Matsthani sarva bhutani. In me all beings are. And then immediately it is contradicted as it were. Nacha matsthani bhutani pashyame yogam aishwaram. Look at this magic. What do you mean everything is in me? Nothing is in me. And then he clarifies. What is that? He says, bhuta bhrit nacha bhutasthaha. Mamatma bhuta bhavanaha. Bhuta bhrit means my presence. I lend my presence to everything that is existent. Starting with the 5 elements and ending with the human being. I lend my presence. So it looks like everything is in me, but I am not in any one thing. And literally speaking, they are not in me. Why? Because they are myself alone. They cannot be separate, and we can't have this located relationship, because even if we take that away, if that is the takeaway, then we will have problems. There will be two. And then one will wonder, how come I am not getting this knowledge? This is why there is a new notion because of this teaching. Oh, yippee, I am located in Brahman. So, that means what? That doesn't mean anything. Because again, subtly there is a duality. So when we talk of oneness, even these at the subtle levels, duality cannot be there. So sarva bhutadhivasam, adhivasa, the word adhi helps. It's the adhisthana. Again, an untranslatable word. People translate it as substratum. Sub means underneath. So I have to look for Brahman here. Underneath everything Brahman is. Then I don't find here, so I have to go under the stage. Maybe it is over there. Then I have to go underground. Where will this stop? Under. What is this under? There is no under, there is no over. Our language just falls apart. Yato vacho nivartante. The words come back, having beaten a retreat, not being able to grasp at Brahman. So we are constrained to talk in code. We are constrained to understand in code. And the code cannot be something completely different than the language we know. This is very interesting. The code cannot be completely the language through which Brahman is communicated, the words through which Brahman is communicated cannot be outside of my understanding. Yet all the words within my understanding are vitiated by notions of finitude. Like the word eternal. I have been waiting for you eternally, the teenager says to the parent who was late in picking them up. Eternally means what? 15 minutes. Okay, that's all it means. So, our words are completely vitiated by our notions. We don't even know the meaning of eternal. Other than 15 minutes, half an hour is eternal. Because I can't handle this, it's too much. So, but the same words have to be used after scrubbing them off. How do you scrub them off? There is a method for that. We don't use the direct meaning of the words, we use the implied meaning of the words. Existent. Again, everything that we know is existent in time, like this flower. If I keep holding it, it will become withered flower. So therefore what? I use the word existence, but scrub it off of the time-boundedness. So therefore it becomes an abstract noun. Bhave, abstract usage. In Sanskrit there is there. So it becomes an abstract noun. And so it is not existent anymore in time, it is existence itself. And it is not aware of anything other than itself, and because we are talking of the intrinsic definition here, so therefore it is awareness itself. Abstract noun. And then it is not limited by space, time, or being an object, so therefore it is limitlessness personified, limitlessness incarnate. So the same words are used, but they are scrubbed off their finitude and other notions, and through this unique pedagogy, that which is not at all conveyed by words is able to, cannot be conveyed by regular words, is conveyed. It's conveyed fully. And the only reason one is able to convey this is because you are already self-evident. It goes and touches that understanding of oneself being self-evident, therefore the knowledge takes place, because there is something to relate to. Because whatever is not self-evident, in fact, cannot be taught fully. There's always something remaining. What is sweet? Let's say somebody from Mars comes, because now so many missions to Mars are going, space things. Let's say we get to that level of advancement where a Martian comes to visit. And then you want to be nice to them, so you say, would you like some sweet? They have no idea what you're talking. Even though they may have a Martian translator, like you have Google Translator, so even then they know the word, but they don't know what it means. You know sweet, how will you explain sweet? That's all you have to do. Nothing else. You can't communicate. But you can communicate Brahman completely. Why? Because you are it. You are it. That's why the understanding is total, full. Because Brahman is total, partless, full, whole, limitless. So therefore, it is possible to communicate this completely. And how? This is through this unique method. So, Sarva Bhutadi Vasam Yat, and that's incomplete. And then what? Bhuteshu cha vasati api. So it is the source of everything. Yes, but then source means people reside in Brahman. People means jivas. All jivas or the whole creation resides in Brahman. Already I have a problem here. Two things are there. That which has taken up the residence. So Brahman is my home, and then I am living there. Sounds good, but is problematic. Therefore, the other part is also mentioned. What is that other part? The other part is Yat Bhuteshu cha Vasati api, and who resides in all beings. You see? Yeah. Not that I am residing in Brahman, Brahman also residing in me. You see, now it is much more complicated. It's like our example is pot in space or space in pot. You have to say both, as though, both. Both. Because this Brahman, having made the whole universe, did not decide to somehow go somewhere and sit in heaven. Tadeva anupravishat. Tadeva anupravishat. It entered the very creation, as though. Again we have to put as though, because the creation comes and goes. If it really enters the creation, it will be stuck there. It as though has entered every aspect of the creation, because itself is without name, without any particular form, so it upholds all names and forms without being any one thing in particular. Very beautiful. And so, Sarva Bhutastham Atmanam Bhuteshu Yajja Vasati Api. And then, how do you understand this? Because it is, this Brahman is a source of all blessing. Sarva anugraha karatvena. Sarva anugraha karaha. This Atma, this Ishvara is a great blessing. Why? Because of many reasons. It is the most auspicious thing. Most auspicious thing. Why is it called most auspicious thing? Because it is, every other pursuit leads one to inauspiciousness, because leads in sorrow. How? We will see in the 6th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Don't worry, it's coming. Okay? So leads in sorrow. Every pursuit leaves me wanting. That's why I have so many pursuits. Every pursuit leaves me wanting, because what I really want is Bhagavan, Brahman, but what I get is something finite, and therefore it leaves me keeping on wanting, want more, want more, want more, want something else, want something else. So the pursuit itself becomes infinite. Instead of me seeking the infinite, I become an infinite seeker. That's why it's inauspicious, because anything incomplete is inauspicious. I haven't been able to complete it, therefore it is inauspicious. But here, this pursuit fulfills me beyond all my expectations, because it leads me to the truth of myself as whole and free of divisions. And therefore, the pursuit comes to an auspicious conclusion. An auspicious pursuit is that which concludes well. Mangalam. In the vernacular films in the olden times, many decades ago, at the end they will not say the end. They will say Mangalam. Mangalam means auspicious. That's how it should be. The pursuit should lead me to Mangalam. Means the pursuit should satisfy me so that the pursuit itself comes to an end. That's really what I want. I want to stop being a chaser. I want to stop being the pursuer. I'm not a pursuer. I want to be within, I want to have that satisfaction of completing the pursuit. No other pursuit, no other branch of knowledge, no other activity will lead to completion. It will always be incomplete, or TBC, to be continued. Life after life after life after life. Keep on seeking, keep on completing, trying to complete. This itself is complete. That pursuit which makes me drop all the pursuits, that alone is Mangalam. That's why it is Sarva Anugraha Karakam, knowing which is a great blessing. It's not, we shouldn't take it like, oh, Bhagavan is sitting there with the right hand raised and blessing. No, that would be a disservice to this beautiful Upanishad. That would be a great disservice to this Upanishad. So therefore, it is not some guy in the sky called Bhagavan blessing. The pursuit itself is a blessing. The knowledge is a blessing. Assimilating this knowledge is a blessing. Sharing this knowledge with others is a blessing. And knowing this, I am Brahman, is a walking, talking blessing, because all my pursuits have come to an end. Oh, will I just sit and get bored? No, I will be free to do whatever I want. I don't have to do something out of a pressure to get something. That pressure has dropped. Because why? The pursuit has fulfilled itself. Sarva anugrahakarakam yat tadasmi aham vasudevaha. This Vasudeva coming there goes off the meter. But doesn't matter, let's see. Tadasmi aham. Earlier it was said Brahman, now it is Vasudeva. Academics studying this Upanishad will pounce on the word Vasudeva. Oh, Vasudeva means who? Who is Vasudeva? Krishna. So it's a later Upanishad. It must have come after Krishna came and went, and so they will get into all these shenanigans. Rubbish it is, because this is just such a disservice. But we know the word Vasudeva means that in which that where the self, the home of the self-effulgent being. Who is the self-effulgent being? You. Dyotanatmakatvat devaha. That is the home of the self-effulgent consciousness, which is myself alone. That is Vasudeva. And we'll find many things. Even in the Kathopanishad, it said, Tad Vishnoho Paramam Padam. It is said. After the Ratha Kalpana, after the chariot imagery, it is said, Tad Vishnoho Paramam Padam. This is the ultimate abode of Vishnu. Is the Upanishad talking about Vaikuntha? No. The suffix itself tells, Ishnuch. Ishnuch is the suffix which has the sense of being its own nature. And the V is Vyapakatvat, that which is all pervasive, is Vishnu. It's not some person sitting there with all the accoutrements of Vishnu. No, we shouldn't take it literally. It's all very beautiful. It's all about Atma, and it is a wonderful term here, Vasudeva, Vishnu, etc. That which is all pervasive, that which is the truth of myself, that where means there is no location, everywhere, where I am at home, wherever I as the self-effulgent being preside. I preside over the whole universe as Vasudeva. I am that Vasudeva. I am non-separate from Ishvara. I am this truth alone. And with this, the Upanishad concludes, but then there is really no conclusion for the study, so we always do the first verse again. Mano hid vividham proktam Shuddham cha shuddhameva cha Ashuddham kama sankalpam Shuddham kama vivarjitam Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. From tomorrow, Mundaka will recommence, and today